And we are back in Boxing Manager for episode 27. We're going to start off with Vashawn Barrett versus Patrick Fylia. I believe Patrick Fylia just beat, was it Manuel Soto? He beat one of our fighters. He did. He KO won Manuel Soto. So we got to get revenge on Patrick Fylia here. And we'll take a look at the undercard. World Eater is fighting on this undercard. Eben Rodriguez. Pretty stacked card, actually. A lot of good fighters on this card. Let's see what happens. Rigoberto Grant way down the undercard. Eric Forbes, maybe our most exciting young Canadian fighter, big power puncher. We'll tell him to look for KO in round 1 here at heavyweight. Almost gets it. Gets a knockdown. Gets two knockdowns in round 3 and a knockout. And Eric Forbes is now 3-0. The pride of Kirkland Lake. Abraham Tovar should be able to handle Victor Trejo Valencia here. Action patch first 2 rounds. Tovar's ahead in this fight. It's a 6-rounder. Oh, no, it's a 10-rounder. He's won the first 6 rounds of the fight, though, I would say. I think he's pretty easily winning this fight. Big round 7. Big round 8 gets a knockdown finally and a knockout. It took a little while to actually crack the chin of Valencia there, but it takes 8 rounds, and Abraham Tovar is a winner. Rigoberto Grant versus Stephen Chapman. Good start by Grant, but then he drops round 1. Close round 2. He drops round 3. I'm going to go to the body anyway, even though we're damaged. We do a lot of damage there in that round, and we have the energy advantage now, so it was smart to go to the body, but Rigoberto Grant is taking a lot of damage here from Stephen Chapman. So we're going to cover up for a round. Then we're going to jab and move. And the jab and move worked wonders. Really great stuff from Grant there, and now he's going to natural style and get the KO. Always good to see a win for Rigoberto Grant. Lovely having a good cruiserweight at the promotion. I think this Steve Irvin versus Tommy Helms fight may low-key be a rematch. No, Tommy Helms has fought a lot of people. He fought Randy Dale. He's fought a lot of people in the super middleweight division, a lot of the famous names, Kotalyarov. Oh, no, it is a rematch. Never mind, I'm blind. Yeah. Tommy Helms beat Frankie Edwards by unanimous decision. Randy Dale at middleweight. But he's never fought Steve Irvin. So a very familiar opponent here in Tommy Helms. 2 respected super middleweight contenders. A bad first round for Steve Irvin and a bad second round as well. We're going to have to go and cover up. Tommy Helms is taking it to the older fighter here. Jab and move, I guess? Because, I mean, we're just getting damaged. He's just beating us up. I'm going to look for KO. I know Irvin's got a lot of power. That was really a desperation option. Tommy Helms just beat us from pillar to post. Tommy Helms has now beat Steve Irvin and so Tommy Helms has now beat Steve Irvin and Frankie Edwards. He's just blowing through our super middleweights. Randy Dale beat him, but man. Oh wait, did he beat Randy Dale? 1 second. Did Tommy Helms beat everybody? Is Tommy Helms the ultimate opposition? Tommy Helms has beat Randy Dale, Frankie Edwards, and Steve Irvin. He's just the bane of our existence, huh? Man, Tommy Helms, Canadian nightmare. And he's signed to a different promotion, so we can't sign him even. We can't even sign him. If you can't, it's not even if you can't beat him, join him type situation. If you can't beat him, have him join you type situation. If you can't beat him, sign him. And Javonna Williams looking to improve to 19-0. Great first round. Taking a little damage here from Larry Peterson, but yeah, Javonna Williams is just, one would assume, on another level. We're going to go to the body. It might be a little bit of a risk, but I just want to get rid of the last of his energy. Yeah. And now this guy is in the deepest of water, and this fight is over. Javonna Williams, 19-0, completely stomps Larry Peterson, gets rid of all of his energy, and knocks him out pretty easily in round 6. Javonte Williams has met very little resistance in the heavyweight division so far. That's a very impressive thing to say. And even Rodriguez gets an immediate knockdown on the first punch over Luis Felipe Santiago. And then I tell him to look for KO. So he doesn't punch for the first 2 minutes, 15 seconds of round 2, and then lands a 1-2 on Santiago's chin and gets an immediate KO. Even Rodriguez basically flexing the muscles in that fight. Very impressive power display there from Even Rodriguez. And Vashawn Barrett, speaking of power display, Patrick Fylia. Vashawn Barrett, 15-0 with 15 knockouts. He's going to have to be careful. The dangerous Serbian Patrick Fylia, who can land a big power shot at will. And he lands a couple there. Barrett's damaged. And Barrett gets a knockdown there in round 3. Good round 4. He's taking some damage. Nice. All right, we're going to pile on pressure now, just for this round. We don't get the finish there, but we're still safely ahead in the fight over Fylia. And there we go. This should pretty much do it. And round 10, Rashawn Barrett's going to pile on pressure, and he doesn't get the stoppage, but he gets a pretty wide unanimous decision win over Patrick Fylia, and we avenge Manuel Soto's loss. How about Barrett versus Soto in the future? I mean, it's just more matchups. But Shervana Williams just keeps blowing through everybody. And Eben Rodriguez has put on impressive show after impressive show. We have some guys to hang our hat on here at heavyweight for sure. And Rigoberto Grant is going to get a new contract. A shame his chin is a little cracked. It's nice to have a ranked cruiserweight again after Anthony Rios. The Anthony Rios tragedy. If y'all remember that, our high-ranked cruiserweight Anthony Rios, who is now out the door. But look at us in the cruiserweight division. Tony Ali already this ranked at 13-0. I mean, listen, yeah, they kind of know what they have in Tony Ali though. Again, I've said it before, he earns that last name. Lots of KO1s, KO2s, KO3s. He just blows through everybody. Yeah, man, Tony Ali. Maybe one day already 5'11". Wouldn't it be crazy if Tony Ali became a heavyweight champion one day at 5'11"? I know we're getting way ahead of ourselves, and he's only got that 12 defense. But just a sparkling bunch of attributes here, and 13-0 already ranked in a bunch of first-round knockouts. I like that he's described as a tough boxer, too, because, I mean, the intangibles really jump off the page. It's a guy that we gotta keep here for the long term. 4 fights on the contract left is very good, and he's absolutely representing us in the cruiserweight division. We've done a very good job of recovering. Actually, look here, 4 of the top North American cruiserweights are currently signed to our promotion, and Anthony Rios is ranked all the way down here, and is now a self-promoted fighter. I wonder if he would want to re-sign with us now. But it's a loss to Agapito Abreu, a loss to Jose Luis Byrd. He's fighting good competition, but he's not beating them. His on the canvas has fallen. His box office now only a 1. I wonder if we could sign him. We don't have a spot open in any of our American gyms. If one opens up, I will sign him back, though. That's going to be another huge title fight for Emerson Gomez, who continues to just have the most box office of careers. But it's going to be an undisputed rematch against Vadim Muzalkov, rematching that classic light heavyweight scrap. Emerson Gomez, man, gotta be a first ballot Hall of Famer. So many iconic fights. Seeing a Hall of Fame is Elias Thomas enters the Hall of Fame. Radzhabov enters the Hall of Fame. That's all the new Hall of Fame inductees. Let's check those guys out. Not too familiar with either of them. Elias Thomas, the first super flyweight to be a Hall of Famer. 49-8. Yeah, don't know about that one. Lots of losses. Lost to Dao Choi, lost to Nkwane, lost to Dao Choi again. I mean, Dao Choi better be a Hall of Famer if this guy is. I don't know how. Yeah, a lot of this guy's success clearly came outside of the sim. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Actually, all 9 of 8. I thought I counted 9 losses. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I can't count. Yeah, all 8 of his losses came in the sim. So this is a fighter who is basically a Hall of Famer off of pre-simulation stuff. This is a guy who's basically a Hall of Famer off pre-simulation stuff. So I don't really know if Elias Thomas is really a true Hall of Famer. He's a Hall of Famer based on the fact that when the game started, he was like, 35, 36-0 or something probably. It's not that impressive of 49-8. Ala Radzhabov, 28-15 in the Hall of Fame. How you like that? Well, this is like Roy Jones or something. This guy just went on too long. He should have retired after the second Joaquin Allen fight. He kept going. He got beat by Marcus Conquest and Roman Salapi in a non-title fight, and then he just kept fighting. He lost to a lot of good fighters, actually. He just kept fighting good fighters and losing. He never really allowed himself to take a break and fight a bad guy. He kind of fought all comers. Yeah, look, every single fight on his record is against an over 500 guy. So honestly, respect to Ala Radzhabov. He just went on for too long. And yeah, definitely a decorated veteran and a champion. A couple Hall of Famers where I think the ceiling's a little low for the Hall of Fame. It's interesting. But it is what it is. You know, Yusupov hasn't retired yet, so he got his 50th win though. Finally, he got his 50th win. He of course lost that famous one, but just a little life update here on Sardar Yusupov. He did finally get to 50-1. Took a second loss to Rodriguez, and he's just trying to build his way back up at super welterweight. So it could happen. We'll see if there's a comeback on the cards for Sardar Yusupov. But there's plenty of Hall of Famers who are still active. James Ray is absolutely going to be a Hall of Famer. So you know, most of the most iconic fighters in this save here are still active. If Raskar Wade isn't a Hall of Famer, I'll sell my hat. After those guys remain Hall of Famers, after all the entertainment Raskar Wade has given us, if he's not a Hall of Famer, I don't know what I'll do. I don't know what I'll do. And it's a headlining fight tonight for Max Rice. Tony Ali fighting tonight, Frankie Edwards. Jose Edwards as well. Little Corey Barboza, the world's small super welterweight, Eric Cartagena, and Max Rice to top off the card. And it's a sellout. Max Rice is selling out Dignity Health Sports Park. How about that? They say Max Rice doesn't have that mass appeal. Yes, he does. And this is a good fight to start off the card. The Pride of Northgate to New York, Derek Mitchell versus Victor Mboyane. Good first round for Mboyane. Good, tied second round and a good third round for Mitchell. And Mitchell's piling on. Up a big round for Mboyane. Let's go to the body. Try to get rid of Mboyane's energy. There we go. And now we can pile on and look for the finish. And there's a knockdown. We don't quite get the knockout, and then we do. In round 8, Derek Mitchell improves to 7-0. Alberto Ortiz Adorno looking for his 20th career win against Francisco Vinces. This is a guy we signed Adorno off the free agent list out of the rankings. And in the first round, it's his 20th career win and his 15th career knockout. Alberto Ortiz Adorno. One punch flatlines Francisco Vinces. That's a very impressive win over a respected veteran, a high IQ fighter who apparently takes punishment well. Didn't seem like it in that fight. And Tony Ali versus Titus Meza. This may be a rematch against a guy that Tony Ali has already beaten severely, but he's going to beat him severely again here. Wow, it's taken 3 rounds. That's really long for Tony Ali. As Tony Ali in the 4th round, does he have the stamina for this? It's usually just round 1 KO for Tony. He's taken some damage. But this is still an easy fight. Tony Ali, this is not really. I'm trying to make it out like this is dramatic. This is a win for Tony Ali. It's just taken some time. Titus Meza's taken some damage here from Tony. And Tony Ali finally gets the finish in round 9 to improve to 14-0. Cannot wait to see where Tony Ali's career goes, man. He's like a 13-0 cruiserweight. He's never fought for a title. And I'm already like, how about that heavyweight move? After he obviously becomes undisputed at cruiserweight, which is totally going to happen, and I'm not jinxing it right now. He's totally going to move up to heavyweight and become undisputed. That's like my bare minimum expectation. Like, Alexander Usyk arc is my bare minimum. Having the exact career of Usyk is my bare minimum expectation for Tony Ali. If he doesn't live up to those expectations, devastated. As Frankie Edwards, impressive effort here against Lucas Neershak. Just really kicked Neershak's ass there over the entire fight. It's a little bit of a close decision. That doesn't do it justice. Frankie Edwards, that was a very one-sided, impressive victory for the local product. And Jose Edwards versus Sonny Bazinian. Sonny Bazinian, one of my favorite names in the game. Can he beat our fighter? Good first round for Bazinian. Good second round for Edwards. Close third round. Close fight so far. Close 4th round. Bazinian, now the more damaged fighter, lays on a huge round 5. We're going to try to get inside in round 6, go to the body. And it works there, and we even the fight out a little bit. Now we're going to jab and move. And it works at the start of the round, but then we take damage at the end of the round. And once again, we're the more tired fighter. And now we're out of energy. So we're going to smother inside here in round 9. And then we're pretty much going to have to go for broke here in the last round to try to salvage something. But this looks like it's going to unfortunately be kind of a sneaky loss here for Jose Edwards. How much power does Jose Edwards have? Jose Edwards is a power puncher. We're going to look for KO. We're going to see if Jose Edwards can land a big shot here in round 10. Nope. Judge 1 gives it to us. Wow, 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 wow. Hold up. How did we... What? That's the most baffling decision I've seen so far. Jose Edwards Is Jose Edwards like, is there some like money laundering going on here? Is this like racketeering? Is there like some organized crime? Is Jose Edwards in with the mafia? Is Jose Edwards like a gangster or something? Does Sonny Bazinian like owe a bunch of money to the mafia? Dude, I have no idea. 133 to 86. Like, I describe boxing like this to people sometimes. It's like that famous Adelaide Byrd card from Canelo Triple G, where Adelaide Byrd said that that fight was 118-110 Canelo, I believe. It's like watching the Yankees play the Red Sox, and the Yankees win 15 to 2. And then the umpire just comes out and goes, Red Sox won 9 to 8. Red Sox win. Like what sporting event were you just watching? Jose Edwards just got his ass kicked. He's the only one with damage. Like, he's standing there. He just got his ass kicked for 10 rounds. He's got a cut over his eye and a giant gash on his forehead. And the ref just like lifts his arm up in the air. Like, did you lift the wrong guy's arm up? Did they read the wrong scorecard? All right, I guess Jose Edwards won that fight. I guess Jose Edwards is 22-5 instead of 21-6. I okay, sure. His box office went up. I don't doubt his box office went up. I don't doubt he got a box office bonus for that unbelievably controversial decision as Corey Barboza continues to be a tiny little ball of seething hate. 5'3" in the super welterweight division and putting people on skates. And it's a 3-punch knockout for Eric Cartagena. A 5-punch knockout, rather, but just he injured his left hand, knocking out Cortez in 1 minute and 3 seconds. That was a brutal dispatching there. Cartagena injures his hand beating that dude's ass so hard. Max Rice versus Eduardo Flores. And it's Max Rice versus Eduardo Flores. Headlining, sold out this venue. Can Max Rice get a win here over a dangerous Mexican veteran with an impressive record? And so far, he's taken damage. Max Rice likes him go to the body. We've got some even energy here, but we're down on we're the more damaged fighter. Jab and move doesn't work too well. We just got such a robbery handed to us in the last fight that went to decision. I'm going to pile on pressure here in round 8 with the energy Rice has left. I'm going to keep piling on pressure. I want Rice to be on the front foot. And I'm just going to go for broke here. Rice has done a good job initiating in these last couple rounds, and we're going to see if he can be a pressure fighter here in the last round as well and steal a decision. It's a draw. Yeah, it is a draw. We win on the only scorecard that there was a winner on, but the first 2 cards come down as a draw, and that makes the fight a draw. So Max Rice is now 32, 7-3. And honestly, I think that's a fair draw. I think Max Rice did enough there at the end of the fight to steal it, and I think that you could have given him, maybe you can give him this round, you can give him maybe that round, I don't know. You can throw Max Rice a draw in that fight. That's fair. That Jose Edwards decision was absolutely ridiculous. He did not win that fight. And next fight, Fred Morales. Kind of sad. Only a third capacity here at the Amway Center, as Fred Morales' career has taken a bit of a nosedive here. He recovered with a KO1, of course, over Oscar Rodriguez, but it's not enough to sell tickets after that one-sided beatdown at the hands of Martin Castro, followed by that loss to Christian Bene where he just didn't really show up. Florida man Fred is going to have to build himself back up here in the super flyweight division. And it's going to start tonight against Devin Paz. Ray Reed to start off the undercard against Dustin Nova. And Ray Reed up to 4-0 with a pretty easy knockout of Dustin Nova. Michael Sosa, impressive heavyweight, young heavyweight. Low ring IQ, and it's showing as he's taking way too much damage here. We'll look for a KO. Yeah, there we go. This is the kind of fighter I think who would thrive on look for KO, and we stick on it for a second round and he loses. Well, we learned that lesson. Don't go on look for KO for 2 rounds in a row. He loses to a 5-18 fighter. We're going to keep him at the promotion. I feel bad. Let's be honest. He was never going to be an undefeated guy because of that 6 ring IQ. So we just get the first loss out of the way. And Alvin Cusimano looking to improve to a 4-0 against Eduardo Miranda. Great first round for Cusimano. Bad second round. He's taking too much damage here. This is a classic 6-rounder. Wow. It looked like he was going to drop a third round in the row there, but he comes back and gets the win in that fourth round. Let's see if we can take round 5. We're going to have to pile on here. I didn't really see much piling on pressure. We're going to stay on natural style and hope Cusimano can steal it. He gets the last round. Is he going to get the decision? Yes, he is. And Alvin Cusimano manages to stick it at 4-0 by a majority decision. Third judge called it a draw. And Darius Mitchell stepping up to the contenders now here at welterweight. What kind of statement can Darius Mitchell make here? And it's a third round KO over, let's be honest, a power puncher in Zaitsev, but not quite the fighter dangerous Darius Mitchell is, as he does continue to be dangerous. Hopefully one day Darius Mitchell sneaks his way into a title fight. He's had a lot of losses, but when he racks up those wins and stays a contender, hopefully one day Darius Mitchell gets a shot. Leroy Berry, local product, up to 5-0. Robbie Maizone from Hyde Park against Thomas Duarte. Great first round for Maizone. Impressed with Maizone so far. Second round knockout. Yeah, this guy might have a little magic to him. He's got some attributes that aren't quite where you want him to be. That on the canvas, the stamina especially, and the aggression at a 7 isn't actually too much of a problem. But man, that's probably why he picks his shots so well, and it's another win for Robbie Maizone. And Saddam Williams. Dominant performance there for Saddam in the second round. A KO, and let's see if Fred Morales can continue on the path back to contendership. This, on paper, is a fight he absolutely should win here against Devin Paz. I'm a little hesitant to go on look for KO after how it happened last time we pushed that button, but it works this time, and it's another win for Fred Morales, a second win in a row, and his 30th career KO. Now let's see if Fred Morales can get back up to the championship level, although it's been proven, time and again that he ain't no Martin Castro. He just ain't no Martin Castro. Maybe one day he will be, but it's going to take a while until he gets that shot again. It's going to take a while till he gets that shot again. Look at Max Rice, though. I don't know about that. If he's up here next to Martin Castro, you'd think Max Rice might actually get a shot at Castro, but I don't know about that, even in the hypothetical. I don't know how well that would go for us. I think Max Rice would be a little better looking at these Daniel Aguilar belts, but Daniel Aguilar is actually probably every bit as dangerous as Martin Castro. Maybe not every bit. He doesn't have the chin. He doesn't have the chin or the conditioning that Castro does, but Castro doesn't take punishment well. Not that anyone's been able to tell. He doesn't get hit. And the reason I'm not scheduling anything for Andy Fitch is because it's only giving me the Turbo rematch, and I don't want to make it. I don't feel like Turbo, like we beat Turbo pretty soundly. I just don't really think that rematch is that warranted. I'd like there to be another contender for Andy Fitch. All right, Ofori versus Donnelly title fight. Ofori, of course, taking Randy Dale's title. Now facing off against Bill Donnelly. Is this a rematch? I see, yeah. So he takes Randy Dale's IBF title, and now he is trying to unify for every single belt that exists. And yeah, it makes me regret not trying to unify with Randy Dale, but I don't know what kind of a chance Randy Dale would have actually had against Bill Donnelly anyway. If Ofori wins, I guess I'll regret it, but Ofori beat Randy Dale, so what do I really have to be mad about? He kind of did it fair and square if he beats Bill Donnelly. If he beats Bill Donnelly, you're just going to kind of have to tip your cap and say Andre Ofori is standing there with all the belts on because he's probably the best middleweight on the planet. Is he? Let's find out. Big second round, but a way bigger third round from Donnelly, and Ofori might be in trouble, and Ofori is in very deep water here against Bill Donnelly. He tries to fight out the back foot with big shots at the start of round 5, but Donnelly comes back and finishes the deal, finishes the show. And he is still, actually now, he didn't have the IBF title. He is now the undisputed middleweight champion of the world. I think he has held that title before. Wow, doesn't look like it for the first time ever. I can't believe that. He was already undisputed in all of our hearts, but for the first time ever, Bill Donnelly is an undisputed champion. That's, like, hardly surprising. And Charlie Dingy won't sign with us. He'd be great for the Canadian gym, but he wants a title record, unfortunately. Kind of pisses me off. And I'm just going to sign George Askry. Admittedly, he's not that good. He's got IQ and he's got punch power. He's just going to go to the Canadian gym and we're going to put him on some. You want a title record? All right, save it. The title record. Yeah, okay. Delusions of grandeur. You are delusional. You are deluded. Let's do amateurs then. Because it's influence points we have. Ooh, Francisco Tyner. Another guy at a fucking U.S. gym. It's crazy. Fine. Tyner turns pro. David Pennington turns pro. Look at Ramsey Cruz. Heavyweight from Webster, New York. He's 20-4 in the amateurs. That is a crazy amateur record. I can't wait till this guy goes pro. We have a couple other fighters who go pro. Francisco Tyner. Really good fighter. Ring IQ a little low, conditioning a little low. Other than that, really gifted from Elma, New York. Super lightweight. I think that's decent size for a super lightweight at 5'7". Not tiny. David Pennington, 6 foot tall, light heavyweight southpaw. Some gaps in his game for sure. The intangibles are okay, though. He's got good intelligence maker for low ring IQ, 8 aggressions in the end of the world. He's got good punch accuracy and good defense, but doesn't take punishment well, and his chin isn't great. So we'll see how David Pennington fares out of Waco, Texas. And LaShawn Gallegos, we're going to sign heavyweight out of Santa Ana, California. Look at those 20s. Let's see what he turns into. Derek Unin. This guy is huge. Oh, super heavy. That's what I was about to say. I thought I was looking at light heavyweights. I'm like 6'7". I wish any of these Canadian guys were actually good. And look at Aaron Gray out of Rhode Island. Abraham Sanchez out of Queens. And we got a couple middleweights here. A couple more middleweights here. We've got Aaron Gray out of Providence, Rhode Island we're going to sign. And then one more kid out of New York, fortunately for us. Wait, sorry. North American, middleweight. There we go. Abraham Sanchez out of Queens, New York. And Willie McBay out of Montreal, Canada. He's got 3 losses. He's 4-3, but he's huge for a welterweight. 6'1" with an 82-inch reach and good power, good physicality. We're going to sign Willie McBay. I'm trying to find a really good Canadian fighter here. No influence points to sign anybody else, so it's time for Rico Hartman versus Mario Abel Jimenez. This is a tremendous main event and a tremendous card full of great fighters. Tony Seals fighting tonight, Gabriel McCreary fighting tonight, Randy Dale, Raymond Pena, Manuel Soto. All-star lineup of fighters at the promotion. Here tonight for Rico Hartman's first main event, I believe, which Rico Hartman is a guy that we have loved since he was a young lad, but a wee prospect. A huge super middleweight, of course, Rico Hartman. Robert Filippone against Fagino here. 2 11-1 fighters. And Fagino putting some damage, putting some hurt on Filippone. This is a really even scrap, and Filippone basically breaks out into the lead there in round 7. Tremendous stuff, and Filippone now 12-1. Todd Lopez looking to improve to 10-0 over Jose Calderon. And there it is, Todd Lopez 10-0. Soto versus Arnulfo Bundrage. What an awesome name. Can I be named Arnulfo Bundrage? Arnulfo Bundrage. Bundrage? Is it Bundrage or I'm just going to say Bundrage. That sounds more metal. Manuel Soto. Manuel Soto kind of taking a beating. Off the back foot, though. With like 15 unanswered punches there in round 5. He's gotten like no energy left, Soto. Let's go for broke here, honestly. It's kind of weird to do with this much left in the fight, but yeah, I want to use our energy, and we do a great job there. And now not only is he way more damaged than we are, it's kind of even on energy. 12-22 isn't the end of the world. We're going to keep piling on pressure, and I still think we can get the finish in this fight, and we do in round 8. And Manuel Soto with a very impressive hard-earned win, though, over Bundrage. And Raymond Pena versus Greg McCreary. Not that McCreary, not Gabriel. Pena taking some serious damage here against McCreary, though, in round 1. Getting lit up there. He was on the back foot there. It was 16 punches there from McCreary. All of them landed at the start, and then Pena came off and landed 21 in a row after getting damaged. But he's cut up pretty bad, McCreary at least. And Pena's cut up McCreary, so he's got a chance to pile on some damage here. And what just happened? Pena gets the knockout. Wow. He was really back up against it for that entire fight. But he did open up a big gash on McCreary's forehead. 2 nasty cuts on McCreary's forehead and then finished the fight. And it's the 25th career win for Raymond Pena, and that was one of the harder ones he's ever had to go through. Raymond Pena really doesn't take damage too well. McCreary didn't really hit us with that much. But that was really just kind of a toe-to-toe battle as well. Really tough, hard-earned victory there for Raymond Pena. Let's take a look at Raymond Pena because he's just the guy we always talk about. He's a guy I feel like we've gone back and forth on a lot. I just described, he's a professional fighter, man. A lot of early round knockouts, a lot of early action. He can obviously stand in there with some of the top guys in the division. He can obviously knock out some of the top guys in the division, but he's going to take damage too. He does take a lot of damage. He's kind of a bit of a glass cannon, Raymond Pena. And Randy Dale versus Jerry Gallegos. Jerry Gallegos very capable of knocking out Randy Dale here. Big power puncher. Randy Dale's going to have to watch out and box, and that's what we're going to do. Jab and move because we're taking some damage here. We need to actually try to box this dude. I think that's where Randy Dale has Gallegos. Randy Dale always capable of landing a knockout, but he's in bad shape now. Down 70 to 26 on energy, and we're just going to have to go for broke here with what energy we have left because we're pretty much in deep water now. We're going to have to keep... I'm going to pile on pressure here. After this, I have no ideas. We're kind of staying in this fight. We're going to smother inside. And we get a knockdown smothering inside. This is insanity. We're somehow in this fight with the last of our energy. Randy Dale managed to scrap his way back into this fight. And now with only 11% energy left. What do we do? I think maybe natural style would be our friend. Now we're getting beat up on. That might be a mistake. Oh no, here comes some work from Randy Dale. I wonder if we can get the finish. He's so damaged. If Dale does get some power shots in, maybe we maybe win it, but I don't like dropping around here, and we do. And I think Gallegos might win the fight on the scorecards. It's a draw on scorecard 1. He wins on scorecard 2 and scorecard 3, and man, we just made a mistake. But he ran out of energy too. Natural style. Dale used all that energy. We maybe could have stayed on smother inside, but it's a tough majority decision loss for Randy Dale. I'm sure he'll get back and pick himself back up, but that was just a tough fight. Maybe don't drop all those rounds. Maybe don't drop all those rounds. Maybe that 28-8 shouldn't have happened, huh, Randy? Maybe don't get punched 28 times in one round. Tony Seals versus Al Morrison. Al Morrison, a power puncher, takes punishment well, but hopefully he'll provide an immobile target for Seals after an absolute snooze fest of a round 1 and a snooze fest of a round 2. There's nothing happening in this fight. And there's some volume from Tony Seals. Let's just pile on pressure. I mean, if Tony Seals wants to be the one to initiate the action, we'll let him as he gets a knockdown, almost gets the finish there, and we're just going to be chasing the finish here. For the rest of this fight, probably we're struggling to, though. Look at this. Look at Al Morrison. What happened? As Al Morrison now. And now we just go on counterpunch. We cover up in a counterpunch. Al Morrison's lights out, and it's a win for Tony Seals in round 8. As he KOs Al Morrison. A valiant effort from Al Morrison. He went down to the bottom of his energy and started landing big shots on us and made it a fight. But Tony Seals able to come back and counterpunch the pressure from Morrison, who has 12 knockouts and 12 knockouts in his 12 wins. And Tony Seals was able to avoid getting KO'd himself, knocks down Morrison twice, and secures a win. Gabriel McCreary versus Christian Votto. You'd figure there's levels here. It looks like McCreary's just a slight level above Votto, but let's see if Christian Votto, with that punching accuracy and that ring IQ, can ask some questions of the veteran McCreary that he can't answer. It's a big first round for Votto. And McCreary may have to box his way out of this. We're going to jab and move. It's borderline cover-up territory. We're really getting roughed up here by Votto. We're going to cover up for a round. I feel like I have no choice but to go to the body. And it works okay. We're taking so much damage. Let's pile on pressure here in round 7. We're going to have to make this an action-packed fight, and it's 2 knockdowns and a knockout for Christian Votto. As we have to try to get inside, we have to try to pressure, and it's big power shots from Votto that knock McCreary down and knock him out, and that's a sad loss for Gabriel McCreary, who for some reason doesn't lose his North American title to the Mexican fighter in the loss. That doesn't really make any sense. But it's a break to a fun win streak and a fun string of results for Gabriel McCreary. 2 draws in there to Kenneth Guidry. We maybe want to go and fight him again to actually give a conclusion to that trilogy. Kenneth Guidry is still a contender, still up in the rankings. That would be a fun fight to make for Gabriel McCreary. But yeah, he's fought nothing but killers and had nothing but good results, man. Really, it's been a fun run for McCreary. Honestly, ever since the Carl loss, he lost his North American title, then won it back against Sanchez, beat Coates, beat Brandon Williams, beat Hartman, beat Esco, avenged the Michael Carl loss, Michael Carl trilogy, Beat Michael Carl twice, even KO won him. Draws Kenneth Guidry twice, 3 more fun fights, defends the North American title, and now loses here to Votto. So McCreary has had such a fun career, and it's a shame that that loss is going to set him back on his path back to the title. But Gabriel McCreary has had an awesome career, and to me, this loss takes nothing away. We're just going to get right back on the march to title contention with Gabriel McCreary. The main event of the evening, Rico Hartman versus Mario Abel Jimenez in front of 22,000 sold out at the Enterprise Center in St. Louis. Can Rico Hartman secure the biggest win of his career? Bit of a slow first round. And it's time for jab and move. The old Rico Hartman reliable. It's a close round, fun round. I think we won that round. Maybe. Definitely won that one. Yeah, Hartman, it's been a low volume fight, but Hartman is doing his job. And there we go. There's some work from Abel Jimenez, maybe springing the trap a little bit. And there we go. We see Jimenez's pressure, and we cover up and try to counterpunch, and we do a good job of it. It's been a low volume fight, but that is Rico Hartman's forte. Jab and move, and we're going to stick out. Hopefully a unanimous decision here. Nope. It's a draw. I think we won that fight. I think the judges fell a little in love with Jimenez's volume maybe there in round 7, providing by far the most action-packed round of the fight from either fighter was Jimenez. But in my opinion, Hartman, lots of power punches here at the end of the fight. Applied early pressure and then started power punching at the end. There was never really any intention, I think, to finish the fight by KO from Hartman, which I think is part of why they called it a draw, but I think he controlled the fight. I think he won the fight. I think he was fighting an aggressive, dangerous fighter, and he kept the fight low volume and non-aggressive. So I don't really know what the judges didn't see there for Rico Hartman, and it's a bit of a shame, in my opinion, that fight's a draw. I think Rico Hartman probably... I said unanimous decision. It felt like a unanimous decision to me. I think Rico Hartman should have won that fight by a round or 2. And how's this for a title defense for Andy Fitch? We finally get a title defense that I like here against Mike Bledsoe. Hopefully we can win this one. A lot of dangerous title defenses at super welterweight, so nice to find one that I think Andy Fitch can actually handle. Big world bantamweight title fight for every single belt. Don't know where the Ring Magazine is. Don't know what Ring Magazine doesn't like about this fight. But this should be the undisputed world bantamweight title. Jorge Rivera looking to defend against Ernesto Majares. And there is a knockdown and a knockout for Jorge Rivera in round 3. Disappointing effort there from Majares. Managed to make the fight even, then Rivera found the big punch and brought the fans out of their seats, and he is still the undisputed world bantamweight champion. I don't know why. Again, what is the Ring Magazine not doing here? Maybe he's only 20-0. That could be it. It's just going to take more fights for the Ring to get on board. No clue. But Jorge Rivera now 21-0. All right, and it's time for an absolute super fight, a rematch of Gilberto Gomez versus Oleg Zhakupov. That one on Zhakupov's record is, in fact, Gilberto Gomez, who is the closest fighter in this universe to 50-0 after the failure of Sardar Yusupov, and he might be significantly further from 50-0. In fact, impossibly far from 50-0, because he might lose to Oleg Zhakupov here, who just had a really big first round, 3 big power shots, and more power shots from Zhakupov, but you can't not give that round to Gomez. Gomez clearly not taking punishment great, but giving it everything that he has here. It's really hard to see Gomez getting to 50-0 at this level. It takes punishment, but his offense, man, he's managing to out-hit his problems here. As Zhakupov, now the more damaged fighter, Gomez on about half the energy. It's taking a lot out of Gomez just to damage Zhakupov like this. And Zhakupov with a big round, breaking out ahead in the fight in round 6. This is a classic bout here. And it's all coming from the fact that Gomez just seems to not quite be the fighter that he was. But it's a huge round off the back foot with 0% energy. Gomez with a huge round 8, 23-2, asking the judges some serious questions and knocking some serious stamina off Oleg Zhakupov. And it's another big round for Gomez. He wins that round for sure as well. And now Zhakupov only with 15% left. Now only 10% left. But Zhakupov might have won that round. This is a razor close fight. Good luck scoring it. This is the closest fight I think there's been in this save so far. And it's a knockdown for Zhakupov. Oh, man. I am like running my hands through my hair in anxiety right now. This is crazy stuff. Gomez almost TKO'd at this point, heading into round 12. We're definitely watching this on fast. The only knockdown of the fight belongs to Zhakupov, so it would be so hard not to give him the decision. But it's an undefeated 40-0 Gomez for the judges to think about. We're getting a trilogy without question unless one of these guys moves out of this weight class. We're getting ahead of ourselves. We got round 12 to fight, and what is one of the most even fights I've seen in this save. Good luck scoring it. Zhakupov should be in the lead, in my opinion. Gomez has kind of been the more tired, more damaged fighter for most of the fight. It feels like Zhakupov has kind of been the man in there. Can he get the finish here on a tired and battered Gilberto Gomez, who has really been counterpunching and fighting off the back foot the entire fight? It's a power shot from Zhakupov. Gomez responds. Zhakupov piling on. A couple punches away from a TKO is Zhakupov, and he piles on the pressure. He could have gotten a TKO. The ref didn't stop it, but the judges are going to give it to the new, undisputed welterweight champion of the world, Oleg Zhakupov, who snatches Gilberto Gomez's 0. Gilberto Gomez is 40-1, and you can bet we are getting the biggest trilogy in the history of the save. This is going to be one heck of a third fight if it's made, unless one of these guys move out of this weight class, which I'm kind of worried about because I really want to see that third fight. I think Zhakupov would win again. Gomez seems a little cooked. He seems long in the tooth. It seems like Gomez is pretty washed at this point. He was really not taking punishment well from the beginning of that fight. And he had to fight, as I've said repeatedly. I feel like I'm repeating myself over and over again like a broken record player. I've said it a few times, but off the back foot. He had to fight that whole fight. He's used to being the guy in there. He's used to being the guy initiating the action and asking the tough questions. And this time it was Zhakupov. Gomez was the one running on the emptier gas tank for the entire bout, and it showed. And Oleg Zhakupov, despite a tremendous effort from Gilberto Gomez. What a valiant effort from Gomez, though, to try to rescue his 0. So standing ovation and all the plaudits in the world for a great champion in Gilberto Gomez, who has now finally been unseated, and hopefully he gets that third fight to take his belt back. And now how about it? I mean, you want to talk about a legend of the game. Oleg Zhakupov taking Edgar Amperan and Gilberto Gomez's 0s, man. This really is a few legends here. Hopefully all these guys make the Hall of Fame. Hopefully all 3 of them make the Hall of Fame, because this has been tremendous stuff in the welterweight division. Really has. And Gilberto Gomez, of course, a 3-weight world champion. One of the few, if any, maybe the only, probably not the only, but one of the few 3-weight champions in this game, going from lightweight to super lightweight to welterweight. Who knows if we see another jump up in weight from Gilberto Gomez after that. But it's been a tremendous career for Gilberto Gomez. 15-1 in title fights, and it took a tremendous effort out of Oleg Zhakupov to finally get rid of that 0. And a little look at who is fighting tonight. Not a lot of new names, a lot of young fighters you guys are going to get used to. Max Nieves, Carlito Fulano, Albert Ziegler, Robbie Maizon, who we've talked about, Matthew Ganaway, one of our best amateurs, Alberto Ortiz Adorno, who he signed out of free agency, Phil Green of Sean Barrett fighting again, Eben Rodriguez, who put on a great show last time, and Gervonta Williams, who always puts on a great show, headlining the card here from Little Caesars Arena in Detroit. And Nieves with a knockdown in round 2, making sure that he does not get snuck up on by this 6-rounder. It's an easy win there for Max Nieves. Carlito Fulano against a far under 500 fighter in Brian Garcia, and he gets that first round KO. Ziegler versus Julio Foster. And it's a round one at TKO for Albert Ziegler. Impressive show from the man from Aspen Hill against a big power puncher in Julio Foster, who could have very easily knocked him out. Robbie Mizone versus Malcolm Temple. Robbie Mizone coming off an impressive performance. Can he put on another one? It's an exciting round one and a knockdown to start round two for Mizone, who is going to try to finish this fight in round four, and he does a knockout of Malcolm Temple in round four for Robbie Mizone, who is now 13-0. Matthew Ganaway. And crazy, it's only Matthew Ganaway's second fight. Let's get some more fights on his record. Matthew Ganaway, high IQ fighter. Adorno, now against Acosta. Bad round one for Adorno. Acosta piling on pressure. All right, I'm gonna tell Adorno to pile on pressure because he's just not punching. Adorno is not punching in this fight. He just isn't throwing anything. 25 punches through 4 rounds. We go to the body, and finally he starts throwing something. We pile on pressure. There's nothing there. I don't know what's happening to Alberto Ortiz Adorno today, but this has been an incredibly lackluster fight. And he gets a knockout. Great, cool. We go smother inside, and he just uppercuts this dude from the clinch or something. Big right hook to the temple. And Acosta falls over, limp and bloodied, and Alberto Ortiz Adorno is 21-1-1. What a KO from the clinch. We got very lucky there. Didn't like that performance from Adorno. Hopefully we don't see any more like it. I think didn't Adorno lose his first fight with us? I feel like we signed him right off the free agent list and he just came in and lost his first fight. So we've seen it before from Adorno. Maybe a bit of an inconsistent performer. But you know what? This is boxing. Inconsistent performers with big punching power. Sometimes you can hide the fact that you're an inconsistent performer if you have big enough punching power. This Phil Green with a win. Vashawn Barrett against Lazar Stanojevic. This is a big fight in the light heavyweight division. Big damage there from Stanojevic, but a big third round there from Vashawn Barrett, pulling himself out of the fire. And yeah, now he's chasing the finish. It was a rough start to the fight for Vashawn Barrett, and I mean it's still some nice volume from Stanojevic. But Barrett is handling it well. A couple damaged fighters here. We're going to cover up and hope that Stanojevic doesn't try to overwhelm us with the last of his energy. We managed to keep him off us in that round, and that's a very good calculated win there by Vashawn Barrett against difficult opposition. A bit of a tough fight to keep up with, admittedly, but he managed to keep Stanojevic off of him, who was really trying to pressure him for vast amounts of the fight, and a lot of big power punches from Barrett, especially at the end of the fight, and some really impressive counter punching as well. Ewan Rodriguez versus Wee Sun Jun. This might be a tough matchup for Rodriguez, but Rodriguez can put the lights out on anybody. Rodriguez is definitely capable of putting on a show. But it's Wee Sun Jun who puts on a show there, as we basically got snuck up on there in round 3. I was going to give him one more round to try to adjust, and instead Wee Sun Jun just attacks and finishes the fight. And that's a disappointing loss there for Evan Rodriguez. The throws of the heavyweight division, man, the highs and the lows. The win over James Ray, then immediately loses to Budanov, gets a quick KO on Santiago, climbs the ladder up to Wee Sun Jun in a bigger fight and gets KO'd. So, hey man, life is tough as a heavyweight. And I think Evan Rodriguez has kind of proved that he isn't quite that level of heavyweight, at least not yet, at least not now. Gervonta Williams, though, that's an entirely different question. Can Gervonta Williams improve to 20-0 over Juan Aguilar, a guy he must be favored to beat? We're going to start on look for KO. And it's a good first round for Gervonta Williams. We don't get the KO. We're going to play it safer now. But, yeah, this is very easy work for Gervonta Williams. 20-0. 27 seconds into round 4, he flatlines Juan Aguilar, and it's 20-0 for young Gervonta Williams, the World Eater. The World Eater continues his reign of destruction. An absolute scourge, a plague over the heavyweight division, Gervonta Williams. Live in fear. Tremble in your hovels. Tremble, peasants, before the mighty power of the World Eater, Gervonta Williams. Hailing from the darkest, deepest depths of Kenosha, Wisconsin. Oh, and heavyweight title update. All the people who thought that Michael O'Malley was overrated. We forgot to watch this fight, unfortunately. But a second fight against Boban Petrovic, who knocked out Michael O'Malley in round 1. We all said that he was overrated after that. Well, he gets the rematch and wins a majority decision. So hopefully we get a heavyweight trilogy here between Petrovic and O'Malley. Let's take a look at the heavyweight division. Yeah, Archer's Margenis is really probably the best heavyweight in the world right now. O'Malley has 3 of the belts and Margenis has 2. So maybe a unification fight between them, but O'Malley has work to do in that trilogy fight. Here's a look at the card for Rigoberto Grant versus Vadim Pudosovs. This is a tough fight for Rigoberto Grant and a tough test for Rigoberto Grant. All 3 of these heavyweights, Patterson, Ali, and Grant, could have fought Pudosovs, who is the number, I believe, somewhere between number 5, number 6 cruiserweight in the world by every organization. By far the highest ranked fighter we could have fought in this division. Ali also has a tough fight against Milorad Gadjevic in the cruiserweight division, who's also a highly ranked cruiserweight as well. Same size as Ali. Fortunately, a lot of fighters in the division who are a lot larger than Ali. Hopefully, Ali can handle this. It's his biggest test, though. You always got to be worried putting a fighter up this special in an early career test. And Patterson against Youngman Park. Youngman Park, a very interesting fighter. This should just be an interesting fight to see how this one goes. Patterson versus Park. Very interesting to see how that goes. Morales. Another climb back up to the top. This is going to be a North American Super Flyweight Championship fight, so hopefully he can defend his title. Funny that it's on the undercard. Didn't know that it was a title fight when I scheduled it on the undercard. Saddam Williams fighting as well. Leroy Barry, Zuski, Cusimano, Branzino, and Zapata. Good first round for Zapata. Good second round. We're going to chase the finish here in round 3. Try to get a win for our youngster. Bad round. Got a little over aggressive. And in round 4, yeah, natural style is working for Zapata. Not there. Big round for Silva. Putting Zapata in some trouble. Don't like having to counterpunch against an 8-13 fighter, but the situation calls for it. As we go to the body, and we're having to strategize here in a 10-rounder, and we go back to natural style, and Zapata finds his flow again. We're going to pile on pressure and see if the judges give us a decision. We get a knockdown, and there's a knockout with 39 seconds left. Zapata finally finds that knockout punch in round 10 to San Antonio Santa Silva into the loss column once again. And Michael Branzino looking to get his 10th career win for the young Canadian prospect. Tough fighter, tough character. Definitely not a guy you'd ever expect to go undefeated or go on a championship run, but hopefully he can provide some entertainment at super middleweight as a guy that clearly has a good chin and can fight forever. Definitely an old school guy. Alvin Cusimano, a very good puncher. Bad round. I say he's a very good puncher, and he gets absolutely dominated by Leonardo Reyes. Definitely the toughest fighter that he's fought, Cusimano, and it's going to be a tough 6-rounder here against Leonardo Reyes. The jab and move, I wonder if they gave us that round. Round 4. Almost losing it, but then at the end, a big flurry to even it out. And man, who knows? And this is such a close fight. These guys are just evenly matched. It was a good start for Cusimano, and then Reyes came back and tied it. We've got to watch this on fast. This whole fight should probably have been watched on fast with how close the action has been. But it's just close, man. And Reyes now getting out to a lead, and it's a big lead for Reyes. And Cusimano is probably drowned at this point. Down now 91-57. This is a loss for Alvin Cusimano, unfortunately, as Leonardo Reyes secures that last round and manages to make it a close decision. But yeah, we didn't win that fight by any stretch of the imagination. Norm Zuski versus Oscar Charles. Hopefully, it's been a couple tough fights here in a row. Now at heavyweight. Great start for Norm Zuski, however. A couple big power shots. Oscar Charles not really offering any resistance. There's a couple shots. But Zuski just piles forward into center ring, battering Charles. Oh, Charles doing some good work. Gets back into the round. And what can Zuski do in this 10-round heavyweight conflict? And that's a great third round there for Norm Zuski. Batters Charles 20 punches to 0. And it gets a KO. Leroy Barry versus Thuso Baeti of Botswana. Dominant first round for Barry. We win the first 2 rounds, and then Baeti just activates super instinct mode, activates his superpowers, and lands 5 power punches and almost knocks us out. And then we respond, counterpunch, land 1 big shot, and get the KO. So Leroy Barry, very scary work there from Baeti. But Barry manages to get a counterpunch KO. And that's a heavyweight knockout for sure for Leroy Barry. And now to the welterweight division, Saddam Williams. Terrible round 4. But he takes the lead heading into round 5 and round 6. We're going to go to the body and try to drain the last of Ryito's energy here. Bit of a low volume fight. But nah, Saddam Williams is good. It's been a great last couple performances for Saddam Williams in this episode. He's really impressed me. Up to 98-91. Not that it's hard for him to impress me. He's got his attributes absolutely pop off the page. Another impressive fighter here in the welterweight division and the North American Championship between Florida man Fred Morales and Juan Carlos Bustamante. Let's see. Good first round for Morales. Good start to the second round from Bustamante, but Morales gets the comeback and should have won that round. We're going to go to the body in round 4 after a good first 3 rounds. And we can't quite rough him up there. He just gets a round win. And unfortunately, I think we let him into the fight with that go to the body. We'll try to jab and move. Nice, that works. He's the more tired fighter. We're the more damaged fighter. He does a little more damage in that round, but again, we still have way more energy. And now we're going to get to pile on pressure and try to finish this thing. And there's a knockdown. He is damaging us. He's getting us into some trouble even as we try to pile on pressure here at the end. But we're well ahead in the fight, and we have the only knockdown. So I think Fred should be careful here in the last round and cruise home with a decision. 115-111. That is just a bullshit draw. We keep our belt, but that's just a BS draw. We absolutely won that fight, and we won by so much on that first scorecard. That's just whatever. Honestly, they're not going to count that for him in the rankings, so it sucks, but it's just another chapter in the climb back for Fred Morales. The real boxing fans know that he won that fight. I'm not going to run that back or even remember that fighter that we just drew. Let's just keep our head on straight for Fred Morales. File that in the old noggin as and in the old ego as a win. And move on. Because it blows my mind that he drew that fight. That wasn't a draw. That third judge actually pisses me off more. If there's just one stupid judge that thinks Bustamante won the fight, I'm okay with that. But the third judge having it a draw is just a little like, come on, do better. That's like 2 judges getting it wrong is just a little ridiculous. Because 115-111 was correct. That's the correct score. And now we've got our 3 cruiserweights after what's been a bit of a spotty event so far. A bit worried for our 3 cruiserweight stars here in Patterson, Ali, and Grant. Tough first round there. Patterson and Park kind of going at each other. This is a crazy fight so far, and huge round. Park just brutalizes us, man, and completely turns the fight. Ugh. And Carlos Patterson's undefeated record is gone. I was worried, man. I can't lie, I was worried. I was worried about putting these 3 cruiserweights up here. The cruiserweight division is tough. And are we about to get triple fraud checked here? Tony Ali versus Gadjevic. It's another action-packed first round. I want to see something from one of my guys here. There's some damage from Tony Ali. Nice. Okay, so Tony Ali looks okay. Handling Gadjevic pretty well through 4 rounds. We're going to pile on pressure. We don't have the energy advantage, but I feel like we're winning the fight. After that earlier scorecard, you can't be too sure. They'll probably give that round to Gadjevic. I'm going to go pile on pressure instead of go to the body here. Oh, what do we do? I hate it. I hate it. This fight is so close. Let's just go natural style for one more round and see what happens. And Ali uses all of his energy, and now Gadjevic is the only one with energy. We have 1 more round left, and we're down on the cards. I love this. Just go for broke, Tony. Whatever. We lost. And Tony Ali's undefeated record is gone. It's a draw. We escaped with a draw. I thought we were going to lose, but we escaped with a draw. But Tony Ali is never going to quite be as undefeated now, is he? He manages to navigate a tough fight against a high IQ power puncher. But it was a really poor end to the fight. And that round where we lost all of our stamina, I just knew everything was going to go wrong from that 30-punch round or whatever it was. And now Grant versus Pudosovs, and this is honestly the least favorable matchup of the entire evening. I'm going to start on look for KO. And we lose that round bad. This is just not going well. We've managed to escape with draws. And Grant, wow, okay, so Rigoberto Grant actually. Nope, he gets absolutely he he got a huge lead and then gets pieced up in round 5. Just does all this work in rounds 2, 3, and 4 to get a huge lead and just gets crushed in round 5. It comes back in round 6 with a good start. But then Pudosovs comes back, ties that round, piles it on us in the next round. And we're the only fighter with stamina, but it doesn't feel like it. Pudosovs is putting on an incredible fight here for a guy that doesn't have much stamina. Wish you could have seen that out of Tony Ali. And now here's the pile on from Rigoberto Grant, who from earlier work should be ahead in the fight. And if they rob us on that one, I'll be very displeased. There we go. It's a unanimous decision from Rigoberto Grant, and at least one of our cruiserweights is able to pull it out. But that was a brutal event in places, man. That Tony Ali draw was not fun. Oh man, take a big exhale after that one. Carlos Patterson no longer undefeated. Rigoberto Grant with one of the most impressive wins of his career, and Tony Ali, that's just a tragedy. You hate to see a draw on Tony Ali's record. And more fights, Brian Mitchell versus Andre Camara here in front of 25,000 sold out at the Target Center in Brian Mitchell's home state of Minneapolis. Eric Cartagena, Steve Irvin, Rafael Evans, Derek Mitchell, Michael Sosa, Antonio Calderon, Eric Forbes, and Trent Flint are all fighting on the undercard. Love to see a big win here from Trent Flint, the Vancouver native. And Trent Flint with a big body shot knockout in round 2 for his 5th professional win. Eric Forbes looking to improve to 4-0. Saw a knockdown there. And there's another knockdown in round 2 and a knockout. Eric Forbes up to 4-0. Antonio Calderon. And Calderon gets the KO. And Calderon with a pretty broad unanimous decision win over Juan Hernandez Lugo. Won pretty much every single round. Dominated the proceedings. Michael Sosa hopefully can do the same. What on earth? A huge first round from Emmanuel Ngongo of Cameroon over Michael Sosa. Michael Sosa, like the low IQ on Michael Sosa is killing me, man. And there we go. All right, we just need to stick him on look for KO. That'll work. All right, cool. So Michael Sosa with another win. The low IQ guys like look for KO, I guess. Tell them what to do. Go punch that guy hard. And Derek Mitchell, 8-0. Speaking of punching guys hard, Raphael Stevens, will he punch Andric Carranza hard? That's what we're here to see. This is boxing. We're here to see if the one guy is going to punch the other guy hard in the face. And so far, that's happened. I know it's cutting-edge boxing analysis. Raphael Stevens looking to improve to 5-0, and he does. Round 5. Very impressive pressure work there. Dropped a couple rounds. A good round 1 and a good round 5. Steve Irvin at super middleweight against Joseph Owusu. I couldn't believe this wasn't a rematch when I made this fight. I feel like these two have fought before. Owusu has definitely fought our guys. And Irvin piling on the pressure here. Looking to finish what seems like easy work so far. Irvin almost has him out. And what happened to Steve Irvin? He was way ahead in this fight, and all of a sudden he's just dropped the ball in Owusu. We're going to have to counterpunch here. Even that not working. Let's smother. I mean, I'm out of ideas. Tremendous work from Owusu to come back into this fight, and at this point you have to figure he's winning as we go for broke, and it's not going to be enough. Joseph Owusu upsets Steve Irvin. That might be the toughest loss of the whole episode. It's the 9th loss for Steve Irvin, and it just the middle rounds, the bottom just fell out. I don't even know what to say. Steve Irvin just like lost the tires there on the road. And he's not retiring yet. His chin's pretty cracked, and that's a pretty rough loss. Let's see if Steve Irvin can keep soldiering forward. It's been a lot of losses, though. Losses to good fighters, though, man. It's all losses to good fighters. There's not a bad loss on here. But unfortunately, he's 2-4 in his last 6. Losses to Jimenez, Cody, Helms, and Owusu now. So, I mean, Steve Irvin is basically learning what his level is. He's learning exactly what level he's on. Here are the fighters you can't beat. Eric Cartagena versus Charles DeLuke. There's nobody that Eric Cartagena can't beat yet, and Charles DeLuke gets beaten pretty bad. Eric Cartagena up to 16-0 with a very fast knockout. And Brian Mitchell against Andre Camara in the main event. And Brian Mitchell's home arena, maybe a little nervous in front of the home crowd. He's getting wailed on first 2 rounds. Brian Mitchell's undefeated record hanging in the balance here. We're going to jab and move. What is with this episode? Look at this. How did that just happen? Look at how much ring IQ matters in this game. I mean, we didn't belong in there with Andre Camara. I couldn't have pushed any button to make that work. And Brian Mitchell is going to have to rebuild. His undefeated record is gone. And one of our best hopes at welterweight just took a big shot at, like, Tony Ali is no longer really undefeated. The Casper Ghost is no longer undefeated. Even Rodriguez loses. We still have Gervonta Williams. Andy Fitch is still a champion. I mean, I'm going to have Andy Fitch's title defense to end this episode. And I mean, like, the vibes are not high. The vibes are not high at all right now. Big strawweight title fight. Crazy that Herman Gutierrez getting a title shot here at 11-1. He won the WBC belt off Cyprian Mpondo. And already getting an undisputed unification fight against Jesus Valenzuela. Imagine if Herman Gutierrez became an undisputed champion in only his 13th career bout. But it's a really good start for Valenzuela. A good round for Gutierrez. Nah, Valenzuela's in control. Valenzuela's in control of this fight. I don't think we're going to get an undisputed champion so early into his career, unfortunately. Valenzuela continuing to pile on, continuing to win rounds. The final round of the fight. Yeah, that's a lopsided, unanimous decision for Jesus Valenzuela. It was definitely a step too far for young Herman Gutierrez. And it's just been so many tough results lately. A lot of fighters we're just going to keep on the bench now. We're just going to sim the next 5 weeks no matter who complains, and we're just going to get to this Andy Fitch fight. And instead of defending again, O'Malley is going to fight a different Eastern European challenger in Andreas Pasiev, so we're not going to get that trilogy quite yet. And a couple of huge fights this week. Heinz Klein versus Milos Yankovic. Is this a rematch? It is a rematch. Yankovic winning a controversial split decision in the first fight, taking Heinz Klein 0 to 18-1. High-rated European champions, Germany versus Serbia, for every super middleweight belt they could conjure up. And it's an action-packed round 3. These two guys do not like each other. There is some animosity that is thick in the air. It's a tactful round 4 there from Klein. It's a good start to round 4 from Klein, but a flash knockdown from Yankovic. This is just a tilt. Yankovic winning round 6. Round 7 to Klein. Maybe. Yankovic with big shots at the end of the round to almost even it back up. Klein with a good round there in round 8. They're both completely out of energy. A huge round 9 from Yankovic. This thing is just so close. I mean, look at all the rounds that Klein has won, but Yankovic with the knockdown with another big round there. Gets another round there in round 10. And round 11, Yankovic piling on the pressure, working on top of that knockdown. Beats Hans Klein for a second time, if y'all had any doubt. Milos Yankovic, and still the undisputed super middleweight champion of the world. What a fight. And now it's time for an absolute classic, I'm sure. Vadim Uzalkov versus Emerson Gomez. How will that chin hold up for Emerson Gomez, who has been in classic fight after classic fight after classic fight? Good first round by Gomez. Bit low volume. Uzalkov now finally piling on the pressure. A huge round 3. Other than that bad round 3, though, Gomez has controlled the fight pretty well. He's staying in it. And there's a big round there. So Gomez finally gets his big round to answer that round 3 from Uzalkov. It took till round 7. But now it feels like the momentum is shifted into Emerson Gomez's corner. He is the more tired fighter. Uzalkov with the big rounds and knock some of that energy off and maybe swing the momentum back his way. But it's a round win for Emerson Gomez. Uzalkov with a big start to the round, but Gomez comes back, and you can bet we're watching this one. This is a very close fight, man. Emerson Gomez Just always providing the entertainment. It's a big start for Uzulkov, who's battering Gomez here in this round. Gomez with no energy. Uzulkov looking to make a statement here for the judges. I don't doubt for 1 second that Uzulkov is going to win this fight if he wins this round big. Gomez has been really good at coming back into rounds, though, and he does it again. Who are they going to give this fight to? Judge 1 to Gomez, Judge 2 to Uzulkov, and Judge 3 to Emerson Gomez by a split decision. Whew. Whoo-wee. Man, you want to talk about a fight. You want to talk about a fight that deserves yet another rematch. I mean, was that their second fight? I didn't even check before. I was so excited. It is. Yeah. I mean, it's going to be another classic trilogy here for Emerson Gomez. What a couple of fights Emerson Gomez and Vadim Uzulkov have put on. And what a win for Emerson Gomez, dude. Seriously. Props at light heavyweight. Already incredible efforts at light heavyweight, taking Sergey Zangief 0 with that knockout. So we already knew how special Gomez was at light heavy, but man, Emerson Gomez, one of the greater fighters in the history of this state, without question. Now, you want to talk about Hall of Famers. If Emerson Gomez isn't a Hall of Famer, there should not be a Hall of Fame. Tony Ali getting a new contract despite that draw. Still very high hopes for Tony. And Callum Guiley versus Soar for the super featherweight title of the world. This also a rematch. Soar winning the first fight. Soar, a 2-weight world champion who has fought. Soar, a 3-weight world champion who has fought in. A 2-weight world champion who has fought in 3 weight classes. Callum Guiley, this is hardly his first rodeo at the title level. And a good start to the first round for Guiley before Soar fires back with power shots and tallies the round on his side. Sorry, other way around. Good start for Soar before Guiley piles on power shots and tallies the round up for himself. It's another win for Guiley before Soar takes round 3. Big round 4 for Soar. Uh-oh. And it's a close round 5. Round 6 is close as well. This is a close fight. Soar, huge round 7. Guiley basically taking round 7 off. What does he have back left in the tank? And he piles on in round 8. He took that round 7 off for a reason. Guiley giving everything he has in round 8, and Soar now completely exhausted. Can Guiley stalk the finish? No. Soar standing his ground, not letting Guiley pile on that pressure. There's some pressure from Guiley, but it took a lot of his energy out to get there. Soar did a really good job controlling that fight. Guiley is up on power punches. It's hard to say he's up in the fight, though. This is a very close fight. Can Callum Guiley get his revenge on one of the greater fighters of all time in Soar? Guiley continuing to pile on pressure. He's looked so good in this fight. He's done so much work. He's just got to keep piling on. And Callum Guiley really should have solidified that decision there with an incredible last round. A couple amazing rounds from Guiley over the course of that fight. He really did a good job conserving his energy and using it over the course of these 2 rounds. Round 8 with 25 punches. Round 12 with 28 punches and 4 power punches. 5 power punches in that round 8. And 2 incredible rounds there from Guiley, of course, in round 8 and round 12 to secure the World Super Featherweight title and hopefully a trilogy against Soar. And now at long last, we come to our own world title fight. Andy Fitch versus Mike Bledsoe. Maybe the easiest title defense we've scheduled. Hopefully Andy Fitch can take care of business. But Mike Bledsoe, a tough customer. And of course that low takes punishment from flick of the switch. It's amazing to see him with titles, but always has been a bit of an open question, about how long Andy Fitch would be able to keep those titles if he won them. Dangerous Darius Mitchell on the card. Jose Edwards after that incredibly gifted decision. Can he follow up with another win? Todd Lopez against Galvez Luna. Undersized Corey Barboza against Alexander De something. Alexander De Jesus Mateos. It was cut off on the other screen. And Andy Fitch versus Mike Bledsoe, of course, to top off the card here from Chase Field in Phoenix, Arizona. I believe this is the biggest venue we have ever used in this save so far at 48,000. We haven't had one of those champions who's really capable of selling out one of the big venues. Raul Williams of Ogden, Utah against Jose Boykin, a 500 fighter. action-packed round 1 there. Another action-packed round 2. These guys are going at it, huh? Crazy fight so far. 4 straight crazy rounds. 5 straight rounds. And then a knockdown and a knockout for Williams in round 6. He didn't like that round 5 where Boykin finally broke through and got a win in a round. And so Williams comes out in round 6 and finishes the job. Tovar versus Kondo. Good first round for Kondo. Can Tovar prove his worth here against a bit more of a veteran than he's used to facing? There we go. Finds his groove in round 5 and finishes the fight in round 6, just like the fighter before him. Ray Reid looking to go to 5-0. Almost. We're going to go to the body. Back to natural style. And up to 5-0. It's Ray Reid. And Darius Mitchell with a pretty easy win over Wilman Arcia. Lots of volume from Darius Mitchell, which is always nice to see. And a KO, his 22nd KO. In now 24 wins. And Jose Edwards looking to recover from what, in my opinion, was a loss the last time out. Even first round. And there's the big shot from Jose Edwards. Finds it on Jonas Mwanza in round 2 and gets the finish. Jose Edwards now 23-5 with a real win this time. Todd Lopez at 10-0. A tough cookie here in Galvez Luna. And there's a first round knockdown for Todd Lopez. Chasing the finish here in round 3. Big volume. Lopez looking really, really good in this fight. And there's another big round. He takes some big damage, though, in that round before piling on in round 6. So much work from Todd Lopez. Another really high volume fight from one of our guys. Good to see after a couple rough events. And Corey Barboza against Alexander De Jesus Mateos. Barboza always undersized in there. We're going to go to the body, as is Barboza's forte. Into the pile-on pressure. As we take some damage, but we do damage and get a knockdown on Mateos and get the stoppage in round 5. And this has been the kind of event that we like and the kind of events that we're used to. And first, fighting out of the blue corner, representing New London, Connecticut, his record, 20 wins with 6 losses, 17 coming by way of knockout. He is the super middleweight title challenger, Mike Bledsoe. And fighting out of the red corner, representing Baltimore, Maryland, USA. His professional record, 32 wins, 7 losses, and 1 draw, with 29 wins coming the big way by knockout. He is the former middleweight title challenger, the former super welterweight title challenger, and the current reigning, defending WBC, IBF, super welterweight champion of the world, Andy Flick of the Switch, Fitch. Round 1. Great first round for Flick the Switch. Let's see if he can flick the switch in round 2. And he gets the stoppage. An easy title defense here for Andy Fitch. And still WBC, IBF, Super Welterweight Champion of the World, Andy Flick of the Switch, Fitch. That was easy work for Andy Fitch. 40 punches in 2 rounds. And he puts away Mike Bledsoe to defend his WBC, IBF, super middleweight titles. And that was a very fun episode. A bit of a rough episode. Some bad results, but also a great result right there. A title defense for Andy Fitch. Lots of draws as well. Lots of tough results. Lots of fun fighters, though, we still have, and lots of fun left to be had in this universe here in Boxing Manager.